Yeah, we back in the building, y'all. Y'all already know the vibes. Y'all know what to do. Once y'all come in, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. I don't know what you waiting on. You don't know what you waiting on. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Keep that bell on, that notification bell, so you know when I'm dropping my videos. But we got to talk about Fat Joe right quick. Yeah, that dude, Fat Joe from NYC. You know what I mean? You can say he a legend. I mean, hip hop. You can say Fat Joe. I mean, brought a lot of talent. He gave us Big Pun. May him rest in peace. That's a different story. But him and Jada Kiss got a whole podcast. Shout out to them two over there. They dropped their first episode. And Fat Joe actually brought something up. They spoke about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. That part. And something caught my attention. Caught a lot of people's attention, actually. Surprised people not even talking about this. But, you know, Smoke be on top of things. Pause, know what I mean? But one thing he said, actually, he said that he felt Kendrick Lamar had a bigger impact in the West Coast than Tupac Shakur. I said back, I'll wait. Yeah, let me repeat myself. He said he felt Kendrick Lamar had a better impact in the West Coast. Now, we know Kendrick is a native West Coast person, born and raised, all that, Los Angeles, okay. We understand that. But he said he had a better impact as far as the radio play, everything, than Tupac Shakur. May him rest in peace when he was alive. See, that's a debate right there. We got to talk about this. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get the show started, man. Yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Back in the building. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Keep that bell on, notification, so you know when I'm dropping my video. Share the video. Shout out to Smoke Gang, Team Smoke, all my people that got their membership. Shout out to all my day one subscribers, all my new supporters. Couldn't do it without y'all. You want to donate to the channel, Cash App is in the banner. You can also donate by the thank you button on the channel. Let's get this copyright out the way, though. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is for educational or entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel, on this channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and videos I play also owned by the original creators. So before we get to it, right? See, Kendrick in a moment. Kendrick getting that radio play, all that, you know, not like us, and this and that, you know. He's in a moment right now. He's going against one of the hottest rappers in the game that been the hottest rapper so far for the last couple of years, meaning Drake. So they're gonna play that music out there in the West Coast. He's like the most what? Like you really can't name too many people coming out of the West right now. That part. What are we talking about here? We can name Kendrick Lamar. He's like the main star coming out the West. But as far as saying that he had a better impact than Tupac Shakur, we got to remember Tupac went over there for a Kodak moment. Bailed out of Clinton goddamn correctional facility out there in upstate New York. Came to the West Coast. The way he laid down that music over there, the way he gave us the singles and the albums, it seemed like Pac was in the West Coast before it felt like the nigga was out there for about 2 or 3 years. People forget Pac only had a Kodak moment. That nigga was only out there for a few months, no more than close to a year before his death came. That part. Nigga only had a quick little moment out there. See, Kendrick, other hand, he got a little better run than him. But see, Tupac gave us a lot of classic music, man. Laid out albums before he passed away. I mean, he was in that studio non-stop. Classic albums as that. Radio was playing non-stop, nigga. Like, I mean, come on. It was Tupac everywhere. But let's get to what goddamn Fat Joe spoke about this. Now, some might agree, some might disagree. I disagree. I'm a diehard Tupac, Biggie Smoke. That's my era. Tupac gave us some music that it was different. Him and Big was two different people. I always told people that. Pac gave you that pain music and all that. Big gave you them corner music, hustling music. I mean the street. Big gave you that vision of how New York looked in the corners and all that if he wasn't from the East Coast. Big was a storyteller, just like Pac was a storyteller. But Pac took his music to a whole nother level. Pac could do this, he could do that, he could do this. He gave you all types of different type of music before he even became Thug Life. Let's get to what Fat Joe had to say, because I'm not going to lie, Joe. You was around when Pac was alive, nigga. You should know better not to even You said Kendrick Lamar had a better impact than Tupac out there in the West Coast as far as the radio play and everything. Hear what Fat Joe had to say. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, man.
It's the Kendrick and Drake discrepancy. What they like to call it beef in the media world, since we in media.
We in media now.
But you know, thank God nothing happened to anybody physically. Yeah. But how you feel about? Personally, I thought it was about 4 or 5 months ago. I can't believe it's already been a year.
Yeah, this shit is out of control, man. How's a year? But what I can tell you is, boy, that Kendrick Lamar gets some spins in the LA radio. Nah.
Everybody from LA gets spins on LA.
You never seen. When's the last time you went and put on the radio in LA? I was there last week.
I was there like last week too.
Bro, I never seen nothing like this. Like every single song, they like to turn the TV off. The other one, this, that, the scissor, the Luther, the this. Like what?
It's spinning.
It's a fact. Kendrick Lamar gets played 9 out of every 10 songs in LA right now. Not even Snoop Dogg, not even Tupac Shakur, not nobody from LA has dominated the paint. Like this guy, this last year, what they doing in LA, you know, if you from LA, you think there's only one guy on earth, Kendrick Lamar. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. You turn on that radio in LA, if you from LA, you work at Target, okay, Amazon, you delivering some shit, you working at the bakery, Panaderia, whatever, East LA homes, you thinking there's one man breathing in hip hop. It's called Kendrick Lamar. I'm keeping it a buck with you.
No, he had a hell of a year.
Jesus.
He had a hell of a career, but...
Exactly. They didn't really fully talk about that. After that, they started talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef after that. That's the part that a lot of people was like, nah, this. If you go see the comments under the Art of Dialogue and I mean under their pod, shout out to Joe and Jada with their podcast. That shit definitely should be a dope podcast. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them. I mean, because I feel like they're gonna have a lot of dope topics, and we all know how Fat Joe like to. When Fat Joe get comfortable, boy, I'm telling you, he start talking. We all know how Joey got them stories there. We all know. Listen, listen. I'm not saying I'm not a Fat Joe fan. Back in the days, I used to listen to Fat Joe in his early careers. Know what I mean? When he was coming up and all that, he had a lot of dope tracks. Know what I mean, I'm from the East Coast because I know. But when Joey get comfortable, and Joey been around, but Joey, you out of pocket with this one because you was around when Tupac was around, nigga. You know how the West Coast was on that level when Tupac was representing the West Coast. Throwing up that West. It was a different culture, different feeling when Tupac arrived over there in California, LA, California. Am I lying? I'll sit back, I'll wait on that. It was a different feeling. Now with Kendrick is different because they didn't get this pop how Kendrick got that pop right now when he went against Drake. The last type of beef they seen like this international was Tupac and the Biggie beef. I'll sit back. For the youngest that don't understand, go do your research. East Coast, West Coast beef. They made it a whole, I mean, they made that shit like a movie. That was the media that did that. But it was between Pac and Biggie. That was the last serious beef that the West Coast kind of seen outside of California among them against somebody else. It was the Tupac and the Biggie beef. I remember I was young. That shit was crazy back then. But there's nobody else coming out of there besides Kendrick as you think about it. So when one nigga pop off, that's like when the game popped off, when he got down with G-Unit. They all represent, I mean, niggas was on, I mean, it was representing game because he was holding California down. He was holding LA down. So it's the same thing with Kendrick. Kendrick's career is a little bit it's too short. He had a hell of a career. He had a hell of a year right now because of the beef that he got with Drake, nominated for the Not Like Us, but we all know the back end story about all this. Drake got a little issues with them back end people, like I like to say in my videos. If y'all know, if the people that understand the back end people, they know what I'm talking about. So Kendrick kind of got that little boost, that little help from them people in the back end because we all know Drake had a little altercation, disagreement with them people in the back end. That shit been around. That shit is the old story. We're not gonna go back and we ain't doing that. We're gonna talk about this topic. But that kind of gave Kendrick that little boost ahead of Drake also. Even though Kendrick is a better To me, he's a better writer and a better rapper than Drake. I don't care what nobody say. Drake got ghostwriters, but Drake know how to make music. That's one thing I can say, Drake. It's all about the beat, the hear the. I mean, you gotta hear that beat, and you gotta mix that beat with some type of lyric and all that. So Drake definitely got an ear for music. But as far as lyrical, nah, you gotta get that to Kendrick. Kendrick got him over that. But to compare him to some Tupac and say that he had a better impact than Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg and all that, you bugging. Because I remember Snoop Dogg Dog Pound first album. Niggas in the East Coast was bumping that shit. Snoop Dogg and Tupac made a big impact when they first did their music out there in the West, especially Snoop in his beginning of his career. We all on the West Coast, the East Coast was bumping that dog. Come on, what we talking about? That Snoop Dogg first album. That was like one of the first albums I bought as a teenager. Walked inside the store, got the little Snoop album. No lie, we talking what, 93, 94 around there? I was a young teen. I think I probably made somebody go get this shit for me. That was like the first CD I bought as a teen, one of them. Cash. Asked one of my older people go in there and get the album for me inside the store or whatever. Back in the days when we had the DVD, the cassette stores and all that. All my old folks in the 90s, they know what I'm talking about. Cassettes for y'all youngers that don't understand what I'm talking about. Them shits you have to put in the goddamn radio and all that and press play and shit. Go do y'all research. Go Google cassettes. Y'all see what I'm talking about. But that was one of my first albums I bought, the Snoop Dogg. Then, I started buying albums after that. But as far as the impact, Tupac had fashion. The lyrics was crazy. He went against the whole East Coast. The West Coast was loving that shit. He had the essays loving them. Then he came out of Oakland. Remember, he got a little bit of stomping grounds in Oakland after he left New York. He went to Oakland. Shout out to the Bay Area. So he got a little footprints over there in Oakland. He know about the West a little bit before he even arrived to Death Row. People got to do their research on Tupac also, if y'all really don't know. He's not from LA and all that, but he definitely lived in Oakland with his mom and all that. So he got a taste of that California love when he left New York City and he went to the West Coast. But to say that Kendrick had a better impact in the West Coast than him as far as radio and all that, I can't agree with that. Tupac had a lot of hits, man. Tupac changed the West Coast when he arrived there in a short period of time. He impacted the West Coast. The West Coast was like, man, when you watch them videos back in the day on MTV and all that, man, you seen all that love West Coast was giving to Tupac, man. And Tupac wasn't even born. The nigga was born in the East Coast. But, like I said, the black, his family history, Oakland and all that. So, they got a little history out there in Oakland. Not saying it's like Los Angeles, but it's still California. But to say he had a better impact, I can't agree with that, man. I just can't. I don't know about y'all. What y'all think? I think Kendrick had a better impact on the West. Plus, his career is still short. We don't know if Kendrick gonna give us more hits later on next year, the year after, or this year. We don't know that. We might not like the shit. Not everybody liked Kendrick Lamar music, but Tupac was international. Everybody loved that nigga. That nigga was screaming thug life, and that shit was over, nigga. You had the Chinos, you had everybody loving Tupac. It was a different type of love for Pac. I can't really explain that shit because that shit was like, it was just different. It was the nigga swag, his fashion, the way he talked, the knowledge Tupac had. He was one of them niggas. He give you that knowledge, he give you that wisdom. He don't hold his breath. He don't hold his mouth for nobody. Pause. Tupac was a loudmouth nigga. He talk about the niggas in the back end, everybody. Niggas in the front, everybody. He ain't care. So Tupac kind of impact everybody in this country and the world. Nigga, you had white folks loving. You got people that don't like Kendrick but still love Tupac to this day and still listen to Tupac because the way he had his music hit people different. Let's get to Eminem. He'll explain to you. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
I'm such a fucking huge fan. I can't even, I feel like a kid right now, man. This is crazy. Talking about Pac and Kendrick, two of the realest voices to ever do it. It doesn't get better than that. Tupac, man, Pac was on a whole different level. He didn't just rap, he lived every single line. When he'd spit about struggle, you felt it in your bones. He could go from raw, unfiltered anger to this deep, almost vulnerable place in his tracks. That's what made him one of a kind. Pac made you feel like he was speaking right to you, and that's rare. I'd sit there listening to me Against the World or Changes, and it was like, yeah, this is the heart of rap. This is what we're all trying to do. And then there's Kendrick. Kendrick's got this weight to his words. You know, when he tells a story, it's like he's got a purpose behind every line. He's not just rapping to sound good. When you listen to Kendrick, you feel like he's giving you a piece of his world. As a fan, that's everything. That's why we still talk about Pac like he's here, and why Kendrick's name is going to be remembered decades from now. And honestly, that's what keeps me inspired to keep pushing myself every day.
Pac was different. Pac, you felt that struggle when Pac talked. You felt all that pause. Everybody know, man, if you're a Pac fan, you understand what I'm saying. Like, Pac was just a different type of dude. He was a different rapper, man. Pac came from, and Pac had but he had a better, the music he dropped on Death Row, we still play that music to this day. And I'm lying, I sit back and wait. Tupac gave us classic in a short time, man. He was a workaholic. He was ahead of his time. If Tupac was alive, I'm telling y'all right now, it would have been crazy. Him and Big was ahead of their time. Big was a different type of dude, too, over here in the East Coast. Big gave you stories. Like, when you listen to Big, you can picture what he's saying. It's the same thing with Pac. Not saying it's the same thing with Kendrick, but see, the thing with Kendrick, he talked more revolutionary and slaves and all this and chains, and sometimes I don't want to hear that shit. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I can't get jiggy with that shit right there, what Kendrick be talking about. Now, Not Like Us was totally different. It had a little dance move to it. You could dance with that shit in the club. You know, everything got to do with the beat also. Pac and Big had they music to their ear to the music was crazy. Kendrick, in other hands, like I said, he talked about too many cages and slaves and all this and like sometimes people don't want to hear that shit. Sometimes we want to hear the struggle that we come from. We want to hear the pain. We want to hear that same pain that you spitting because we coming from that. That's what Pac gave us. Let me pedal back again. Pac gave you that pain, that you back in the hood. You listen to that Pac, man, that shit hit your soul. You like, damn, this nigga good in music, man. Like, you can relate to what he's saying, Tupac. From your mama, to your family, to your grandmother, to your kids, to the streets, to everything. To life in general, nigga, that part. What are we talking about? The struggles that we go through every day in life. That was Tupac giving us that knowledge, giving us that music, giving us that wisdom, saying that everything gonna be all right, little niggas. Keep on holding on. We're gonna get up out of here. Pac gave you that message. Tupac gave you that message. He was a different breed, man. That's why I try to explain to people. Then he could turn the notch up, switch that shit to thug life. All right, this for all my niggas locked up, nigga, thug life, nigga. That's another thing. Now you can relate to that. So you can relate to the struggle as a kid, and then you can relate to the thug life he was giving us. Talking about the jail system, talking about how they treating homies in there, talking about, your mom, your single mom out there getting high and shit like that. Pac was giving us that vision. So if you live in that vision that he was giving you, you can relate to Tupac even more. That part. What are we talking about here? How many times, shout out to the females and the homies, because I'm pretty much sure we done teared plenty of times saying that Tupac music. Tupac had that type of music, nigga, when you sit back and you by your goddamn self, you might end up tearing up. And you know why you end up, your eyes start watering, you start tearing up? I sit back, I'll wait. Why you think your eyes, and you start tearing up and your eyes get watery when you listen to music? And I don't want to hear that hardcore shit. Man, I don't tear up to music. I'm hardcore, I'm a thug. And man, we all did that shit. But I'm going to give you the answer why we end up tearing up or a tear come down and all that off of certain music that we hear, especially like a Tupac. When he talk about the homies passed away or your best friend, like I said, Tupac gave you all angles of his music. He talk about moms, single moms, everything we can relate to. You know why? Because you related to that music. You see the picture that Pac was giving you as a young kid growing up. Your mom might have been getting high. Your dad wasn't in the picture. Your dad probably was getting high. Your mother probably was in it. Them type of relate in life, we can relate to that. That music that he's giving us, we can relate to that. Uncle getting high, grandma raising you, single mom raising you, working 2 jobs. Come on, you taking care of your siblings. You might be the only sibling. You got best friends. He can relate also. Y'all both trying to come up as youngest, trying to come up together. That's the type of message that Pac was giving us. So when you sit back and you smoke with me, pardon me, you sit back and you already know, you drinking your yak, whatever, or you smoking whatever, you in your little zone, you end up tearing up or your eyes get watery. You know why? Because you can relate to the goddamn music that Pac is giving you. I can't relate to that slave shit, cage and this and that. Nigga, I wasn't in that era. Some of the shit they taught us, I don't even believe that shit. That part, what are we talking about here? That's a whole nother story. But when you talking about household shit, streets, coming in and out your house, got to go to school, struggling, they ain't got the best clothes on and all that. Now this is the message that Pac was giving to everybody. Different angles. Or you a little young nigga hustler at the age of 11 because you trying to be fly. You got to make sure you got to get how you live. Mom dudes can't get everything for you. So you got to chip in a little bit, do what you got to do, so things that she don't know about. Those are things that Pac was the message that he was giving us, and you can relate to his music. I remember, listen, man, it's plenty. That's why I said that short period of time when Pac was in death row, he gave us classics, man, albums. And I mean, them shits was back to back to back. Pac wasn't the type of nigga to sit back, give you an album this year, next album dropping 27 or some shit like that. These are the type of shit that we going through with these artists now. They drop one nigga, the next album don't drop till 2 or 3 years. Tupac didn't give you that. Tupac was giving you album now, a whole nother one in 6 to 8 months, nigga, before the year is over. Pac was giving you 2 albums a year damn near sometimes. What are we talking about here, man? You can't compare Kendrick Lamar to Tupac, champ. You just can't. I'm just sorry. So for Fat Joe to say that, you outrageous, you bugged out, and like, I know you probably say things to get in the algorithm. It works sometimes, but you can't compare no Kendrick Lamar to Tupac. It's impossible. Nah, but Kendrick, man, he come from the hood too. Okay, but as far as the lyric and the writing, the way you send your message, and then again you got the beats behind you, the mashing ass beats that you can relate to. Your head is bopping. Tupac giving you that life experience. He giving you that, man. That shit hit different, man. He ain't talking about no slave ship and no we on cage. We got chains and cage. Niggas don't want to hear that shit sometime, man. Kendrick is a great, talented brother, but he go too far with that shit. Revolutionary chain, all this came off the ship and all this shit, Africa. Niggas don't want to hear that. Nigga, we ain't all come from Africa. That part. What are we talking about here? So I don't want to hear that shit. Most of us was already here. That part. That's a whole nother topic. But like I said, Tupac, you can relate to him better. Now, he's speaking household shit, streets, corners, single mom, single dad, grandma raising you, nigga, you struggling. You sit back there and about to cry and tear up because you're hearing Tupac music, nigga. And the females. Am I lying? I sit back and wait on that. You can't compare that.
You got to get everything cleared. Yep.
So when you heard it, you felt like he was talking to you, or did you already have the questions in your mind? Or
yeah, well, because the trip is, Pac was a prophet to me, and everything he's talking about is actually going on today. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? And that right there just sparked the idea immediately for what I was talking about in my record.
Mm-hmm. So when you met Pac in Cuba, is this the story y'all came up with to keep people off the fact that he's still alive?
Yeah.
That the whole Germany thing, I got vocals in Germany. What the hell somebody in Germany got vocals in Pac?
No, but it was a blessing how it came about, and I really appreciate his mother too, you know, for giving me the opportunity to use them vocals, because, you know, people hold them things dear, and if she would have stood down and said no, I would have respected that too. Right. Mm-hmm. Out of respect that I have for her and her son's legacy, because the things that he know, it comes from her.
Right.
You feel? You got definitely. Storytelling was the whole niche of the album. I want to bring that back into the game, and what Pac showed me was really, you know, not being scared to show, you know, vulnerability in your music, you know, because that makes, you know, the biggest connection, you know, with the audience. Definitely.
That's what Pac did. Pac, they never feared what he had to say. That's how we connected with Pac even more. Then when Thug Life came, nigga, Man, that nigga kicked the doors down. That nigga went crazy off of Thug Life. That's why I said, man, Pac was a very creative person. You can't compare Kendrick to Tupac, man. You just can't, man. He's very creative. He was talented. He knew how to act. Like, Pac was just all over the place in that industry, man. And if he was alive, he would have took that shit to a whole nother level, man. And we all know that. Pac was ahead of his time, and I be trying to tell people that. Now we all try to say, oh, nah, Tupac ain't from the West, though. Kendrick, you know what I mean? He get more points because he a West Coast native and this and that. And okay, y'all can get that. But let's speak facts before I get out of here. Who made a bigger impact over there out of Kendrick Lamar and Tupac Shakur, man? Let's speak facts right here. We talking about the Death Row Tupac. And even before the Death Row Tupac, niggas in the West Coast was bumping Tupac because, like I said, you had niggas in the Bay Area already knew Tupac, man. Because he rested out there. He got a little history out there in Oakland. What we talking about here? We know the history with his mom and the Black Panthers. Now, that's a whole different story. We're not going into that. But but when Tupac came over there on that Death Row shit, who impacted West Coast more? Live and Die in LA. Do I gotta say even more? That song played on the radio so goddamn much, it was ridiculous. They played that shit in the East Coast so much over here. So I can imagine how much they was playing it out there in the radio when Live and Die in LA came out with Tupac, the MTV video. He all in the drop top, got the honeys all in the car, man. Come on, man. That image right there, Tupac had everybody looking at the West Coast. What we talking about from here to goddamn Japan? From here to Japan, bro. Y'all remember that that's why I miss videos on cable. I miss them days. I miss them stations when they used to play the videos, man. We all miss that shit because you used to come on, yo, they about to drop that new Tupac video. Yo, that shit come out like at 4 o'clock. My old school people, they remember them days, man. You used to rush home, go sit down. I mean, you know, light one up as a youngin', do what you do. And you watching the videos, the new videos that's dropping. You see that Live and Die in LA. You see Tupac chilling with the little Death Row chain on. Got the honeys out there, sunshine, palm trees, and all this. Man, that shit was smashing back then. Smashing. Smashed the East Coast with that Live and Die in LA, man. I mean, that was a groove music. I mean, you was able to that was one of the music you just chill, nigga, had that bop to it, nigga. My West Coast niggas, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Shout out to the West, man. Y'all know that bop y'all be doing, man. Come on, man. That shit had all that in it. All that rhythm in it. You can't compare Tupac to Kendrick Lamar. You just can't. I'm sorry, man. Give Kendrick a couple more years and see what he could do. But right now, you just can't. Tupac, short term in the West Coast, down with Death Row, smashed the charts. Killed hip hop. I mean, he smashed hip hop. Had the whole world looking at him, man. Then gave y'all niggas album in a short period of time before he got up out of here, before they took our boy life. Think about that. See, when y'all sit back and that shit make y'all think Tupac was down with Death Row for like 2 years or something before he passed away. No. Tupac was over there in the less period of time. That nigga wasn't, my nigga, that Champs. He was a studio addict, man. This dude was a workaholic. I mean, think about when you look at his albums when he was in Death Row. Now, nowadays, they give you what, 10, 11 tracks now on their albums? Because now it's kind of different. A lot of these artists only give you about 12 tracks, probably 10 tracks on the album now. Back then, that nigga gave you double CDs. That nigga gave you 20 tracks on the album. Yo, come on, how can you compare that, bro? And then the majority of the songs on the album, them shits was hitting. They was smashing it. You was playing them shits in your house. Tupac was different, bro. He was how much I was a Big fan. I love Big because I'm an East Coast nigga. Like I said, Big gave you them stories too, but Tupac was different. He was different. He was a problem. That nigga had fashion. He had the ladies on him. He had every angle to be that superstar. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Swag. The females, now he got the female audience. You got the homies. You got all people listening to you. He was different. When you get that sex appeal, you become that nigga and all that, like man, you got the women's on you now. Now you a whole you hit the ballpark, man. Cause a lot of niggas can't do that. A lot of niggas only got the niggas buying their albums. Not too many females be crossing over to the niggas. But if you a fly nigga, fashion and this and that, and you spitting that shit, and that was Tupac. Females went crazy over this nigga, man. Go to them videos back then, man. I mean, that shit was ridiculous. Tupac was a different breed, bro. And we talking about the thug life Tupac. We talking about death row Tupac. Come on, that nigga was different, man. Kendrick ain't got them females going crazy over him. Females, am I lying? Y'all bugging out over Kendrick over Tupac? I sit back, I wait. I can't wait till the females comment on that. Y'all, who y'all tripping if y'all go see Kendrick or Tupac side by side? Y'all, all the females gonna run to Tupac, nigga. What we talking about here, man? That nigga he was different, man. He was different, man. Tupac was a different breed, man. So I'm out of here. Fat Joe, you bugging out on that debate. Matter of fact, before I get out of here, let's play Fat Joe one more time because he bugging, man.
It's the Kendrick and Drake discrepancy. What they like to call it beef in the media world, since we in media.
We in media now.
But thank God nothing happened to anybody physically. Yeah. But how you feel about? Personally, I thought it was about 4 or 5 months ago. I can't believe it's already been a year.
This shit is out of control, man. How's a year? But what I can tell you is, boy, that Kendrick Lamar gets some spins in the LA radio. Nah.
Everybody from LA gets spins on LA.
You never seen. When's the last time you went and put on the radio in LA? I was there last week.
I was there like last week too.
Bro, I never seen nothing like this. Like every single song, they like to turn the TV off. The other one, this, that, the scissor, the Luther, the this. Like what?
It's spinning.
It's a fact. Kendrick Lamar gets played 9 out of every 10 songs in LA right now. Not even Snoop Dogg, not even Tupac Shakur, nobody from LA has dominated the paint. Like this guy, this last year, what they doing in LA, if you from LA, you think there's only one guy on earth, Kendrick Lamar. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. You turn on that radio in LA, if you from LA, you work at Target, okay, Amazon, you delivering some shit, you working at the bakery, Panaderia, whatever, East LA homes, you thinking there's one man breathing in hip-hop. It's called Kendrick Lamar. I'm keeping it a buck with you.
No, he had a hell of a year.
Jesus.
He had a hell of a career, but
Jada don't even agree either. You could tell Jada like, nah. Because Jada know that Tupac era was different, man. Before I get out, that Tupac era was totally different. This nigga is Fat Joe. And I understand what you're doing. I understand, because I love the debate. I love it, Joey. I love this shit. Don't get it twisted. But I can't agree with you on that, Chant, because you know too. Y'all OGs of the game. Y'all know that Tupac era was totally different. That Death Row era was different. Listen, man, I'd explained it. I'm up out of here. I want to hear y'all smoke about this. Joey out of pocket. He know that Death Row era of Tupac was totally different. He gave us albums, no like 1 year, then 2 years later. No, Tupac was giving us albums, boom, boom, boom. He wasn't playing, nigga. This nigga was too talented. Like I said, he had the whole world. He had the females. He had everybody on him. Pause. The homies can relate to him. The females can relate to him. Everybody was relating to Tupac, nigga. He was international. He was a different breed, man. And it's because of his music, not his acting. The acting did a little boosting, but the music, it was the music, man. I'm out of here. Till then, y'all already know the vibes, man. I want to hear y'all smoking y'all comment about Fat Joe saying that Kendrick Lamar did a bigger impact than Tupac in the West Coast and all this. And Snoop. You got to throw Snoop in there. I don't agree with that. Because Snoop's first album, that shit was crazy. Snoop is international also. But I'm out here till then. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. Y'all already know the vibes. Give me y'all smoke, give me y'all opinion. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV. Salute, gang. I'm out of here.